Hello everybody. Welcome back to Game 2 of the semi-finals of Statewide Stampede. This is another, so we had two pools this year. This is another team number 3 from one pool playing team number 4 for the other pool. We just had Pivot City take on Dragon City, and Pivot City came out winners, so they'll be playing the winners of this game at the finals, and Dragon City will be playing the losers of this game in the finals. I would like to acknowledge the Gunai-Kurnai people as the traditional owners of the land on which we are gathered today and pay our respects to the elders past, present and future. So we have the Ballarat Roller Derby League in yellow up against North East Roller Derby wearing the black with the orange highlights for this game. Let me just run through the wrap pack real quick. We have 1 Sione, 111 Slasher Scissorhands, 113 Willow the Wisps, 16 Killer Curls, 22 Corey, 216 Hayley, 266 Beck, 38 Miracle Roast, 55 Snipples, 7 Nitro Gin, 77 Vindiscator, 97 Lucky, 99 Gussie, and they have Zave, Alice and JR on the bench. That's why JR is no longer with me. And from North Eastern Knockouts, we have 09 Dubious, 19 Spag, 100 Fatal, 20 Kitty, 200 Pickles, 21 Bangers, 300 Calamity June, 400 Sparks a Riot, couple of familiar names there. 45 Jack Rabbit, 500 Crackers, 818 Dolly, 95 Kezika Pow, and on the bench we have Scottish, Detention and Elemental. As always, big thanks and shout out to all of our skating and non-skating officials. For this game, we have rostered Ricka Mortis, Al, Miss Cray Cray, Zarantula, Smackaron, KTKO and Florence all on skates. And off skates we have Abby Normal, Tink, Dakota Blocker, Billy Goat Ruff, Chucky, Slam Halen, Donna Kebab, Bianca, Gav, and alternate NSO is Bonnie. We've got 5 seconds to roller derby. Ballarat's eager. They've got a full complement waiting out on the track. One last chant from North East Roller Derby. And they too head to the far side of the track. Benches are on the opposite side of the track for this game, to the jammer and pivot lines. My name is Harmon Miranda. I'm commentating game 2. I may have a friend joining me. We'll see what happens. And the jam is off. We have Corey up against Spags. Corey being recycled to the back by Dolly, having to try that all again. Successful on their second attempt, getting lead jammer on the inside of turn 1. Spags still fighting against the Ballarat wall at the back of the pack. So North East Roller Derby was ranked 3rd in their pool and Ballarat was ranked 4th. So if you're going on paper, this game should be nerds for the taking, but I'm sure Ballarat's got a whole lot to say about that. So Corey calling the jam, 2 points on the board. Huge lead to Ballarat. Oh, 3 points, even bigger. 3 points Ballarat, no points to North East Roller Derby. We have Sione lining up to jam for Ballarat, and I believe that's Kitty from the knockouts. Kitty starting right on the jammer line, Sione taking like a 20-foot run up, taking the inside line. Nerd took the front sort of defensive position. Kitty's got lead, Sione is literally on her tail, about to overtake as they hustle past. Pack's jostling for position. Neither team really had reformed into some kind of defence, which was lucky. Jam was caught off before either jammer was able to score some points. So score remains 3 to Ballarat, 0 to North East Roller Derby. 2 minutes have gone elapsed on the period clock. Kezika Pow now, taking off the North East Roller Derby, hitting that wall of blockers for Ballarat. They seem to be taking the back of the pack off the start line. And we have... Sorry, I haven't quite spotted the Ballarat jammer's name and number as yet. Paige, thank you. Paige stuck in the pack for Ballarat as we come round turn 2. Meanwhile, Kez has completed their initial pass, scored lead jammer, and is about to score some points. Comes in, hits the wall of defence. Both teams playing sort of a 4D style game. Page exiting the pack, jammer star in hand, Snipples. Keza calling it, then falling down. Probably the order you would like to do things, call it first, then fall. Scoring 3 points. We have an even game. If anybody's into derby drinking games, the score is tied at 3-3. And we have Corey back up against Spag. So the matching that we had in Jam 1, where Corey was successful, we're doing again. Ballarat definitely taking the back line. It's a theme. It's 4 times now. Both jammers exiting the pack at approximately the same time. Corey's lead decides not worth the hassle. Not going to fight it out for points. Too early in the game. Calls it, gives Spags a high five, moves on with their life. We have... I thought I heard 4 whistles. We have some... No? Hearing things. So still 3 apiece. It's an evenly matched game. 4 minutes of derby elapsed. 26 to go in this half. Kitty versus Sione. Sione with the giant lead up, runs down that inside line. Dolly says nope. Draws back the 20 feet. Makes Sione recycle into the tripod of nerd blockers. Big hit by Sione on Keza. Oh, Kitty. Kitty has lead jammer status. Wow, both jammers coming into that pack fast. Nerd blockers at the back, Ballarat blockers at the front. 2 points going to Northeast Roller Derby. 0 points for Ballarat. 5-3. Keza up against Snipples again. I think both, we seem to see a 3 jammer rotation at the moment. Both teams put out the same 3 jammers twice now. Lead going to the northeast knockouts. Snipples about half a track behind as they both come around for their scoring pass. Keza calls. Taking 2 points. Nope, 1 point. Whoa. 1 point in that jam. So Northeast Roller Derby, Keza Kapow getting 1 point, bringing Northeast Roller Derby to 6 points. Double the score of Ballarat sitting on 3, but this is very early days. This is quite a low scoring game considering we're already 6 minutes in. These have been quite quick jams. 6 minutes, 6 jams, 6 points. Bit of a theme. Corey up against Spags again. 3rd time we've seen this matchup. Ballarat taking that back line at the start of the jam as they had every time. Corey getting lead. And Spags still in the pack as Corey enters the back of the pack for their scoring pass. Spags exits as Corey enters. Something poetic about that, I'm sure. Corey looks to the bench, told to call. Full 4 this. No. We haven't had a full 4 points any jammers yet that I'm aware of. That's 3 points. We are back to a tied game at 6-all. Okay, these are really evenly matched teams. Kitty versus Sione. Sione's not going for his bigger run up this time. Still about 5 feet back from the jammer line. Opposites, we had Northeast Roller Derby taking the back line. Ballarat Roller Derby taking the front line. There's a full 4D for each team. Sione is out and lead jammer. Kitty has a penalty and is taking herself to the penalty box. Sione comes in full speed. Team comes in, does a little bit of O, ducks to the inside, is tempted hit out 3 times, successfully avoids all of them. Scores 4 points. First 4 points we've seen in the game so far. opportunity coming around for another scoring pass. Tripod of northeast blockers, hitter to the inside, looks to the box, looks to a bench, told to call it off. With the northeast knockouts, jammer standing in the box. We're going to have a power start for Ballarat. They're fielding a new jammer. It's number 38, Roast Mortem. Crowd goes wild. Roast Mortem starting unopposed. Their blockers wrapping northeast blockers, trying to give some nice offence off the line. Knocked to the outside, recycled back. As the knockouts jammer has returned from the box, we now have both jammers battling for lead jammer status to exit this pack first. Roast is pushing for, I'm going to call them orange blockers, orange-esque blockers. Front of the back, Dolly. Dolly does what Dolly does. Hit to the outside, draw back again. Kitty pushing against a tripod of yellow. And Roast is out and lead. Kitty on the floor to the outside, picks herself up, does what all good jammers do, does it again. The tenacity and perseverance required by jammers is mind-blowing. Bit of O from the knockouts jammer, heading back to the box. Roast knocked to the outside, scoring some points, calling it off. Again, icing Kitty in the box, something that we saw happen a lot in the last game. Jammer goes to the penalty box, the jammer stays in the penalty box till the next jam. How many points total? Tell me, scoreboard, tell me. There were some points scored there. I just haven't seen them go up on the board. Roast got some. A couple of officials run over to the scorekeepers. Pretty sure we should be getting some points up here. Looks to have frozen. Oh, good. That's great news because we only had scoreboard issues. Oh, no, that was the streaming scoreboard, not the live scoreboard. We have 10 minutes elapsed in this first period. Scoreboard currently saying 10 points to Ballarat, 6 points to Northeast Roller Derby. But I'm pretty sure Ballarat's owed a couple of points. Oh, the time's changed now as well. Technology, does it not make our lives easier? So a big shout out to volunteers and all the people off skates that run leagues, or all the work that people on skates do off skates to let events like this happen. Definitely, if you're in the venue, check out the raffle sale, check out the merch, check out the stalls, support the people that support roller derby. And obviously there's donuts and Mexican food as well. A couple of food trucks outside worth coming down for. Thanks to our photographers that let us remember the day after the day's happened, and our live streaming guru next to me. Amazing work for all of that. It allows many of you not to travel to Sale and still enjoy the roller derby. Oh, scoreboard's being updated. 20 minutes 43 left on the period clock. 4 points scored by Roast Mortem in that previous jam, unopposed. 14 points to Ballarat, 6 points to the knockouts. Rolling whistle has rolled. We're about to recommence roller derby. Jam number 10, Corey starting unopposed. Coming up to that 4 wall of knockout blockers, pushing them forward. Ballarat team elects to stand still and let Corey push, getting them out of play. They now lead jammer, coming around to score some points. Ballarat offense gets the pack moving. Corey comes through for 4 points. Goes back for some more. One offensive player comes in to help Corey out this time. Successfully. Another 4 points. Kitty's back from a little bit of a rest in the box. Bit of sidestepping on the inside line on the toe stops. Completes their initial pass so they too can come around and be eligible to score. Corey calling it from the floor. At least 8 points on the board. That was a big jam as far as jams in this game have gone. 10-point jam to Corey for that one. Ballarat will now have 24 points to North East Roller Derby's 6. We have Sione up against Kazakapau. Ballarat taking the back line as they have for the majority of starts where we have a full 4 in the box, 4 blockers on the track from each team. Sione about a third of the track behind. Kez is out for lead, coming around those Ballarat blockers that are, staying at the back of the pack. One to get past, told to call it by the bench. It does so on the floor on their back. Then there's sort of obviously some choreographed artistic piece there where another of their blockers comes over the top. No, totally accidental. Calling it off on your back while being tripped over by one of your teammates, which isn't a low block if they're your teammate. Totally allowed to do that. You're allowed to trip your own teammates. 4 points there for Keza. 2 sneaky points for Sione there. Lead is reduced by 2 points. 10 points for North East Roller Derby. 24 points for Ballarat. Spags up against Roast Mortem. Spags facing Ballarat at the back of the pack. Trying for that outside line, pushing on the tripod. Gets that tripod moving and is out on turn 1 with lead jammer status. Roast at the back of the pack up against a solid tripod of nerd blockers. Teammates helping with some O. Clear and free on their initial pass. But Spags close on their heels after scoring 4 points. Roast Mortem decides to do a little bit of defense whilst Spags coming into the pack. Enough to convince Spags not worth it. Pulls it off with just the 4 points. Now have a 10-point differential. Ballarat on 24. North East Roller Derby on 14. Jackrabbit. Jackrabbit is the first time they've been jamming in this game so far. Up against Corey, who just has a lead. Ballarat recycling. Is that Gussie recycling Jackrabbit at the back? So Jackrabbit stuck behind a tripod of Ballarat blockers. O's coming in. Dolly's coming in to do a little bit of offence. Whilst Corey laps around the outside. Hey JLo, how you doing? Just got JLo joining me on the commentary desk. Fresh from a game, fresh from a win.
Yes, fresh from a win.
Fresh from a win. Playing for 5th place next.
Yes.
So very, very exciting. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So we've got Corey doing laps. Got 8 of them. Probably going to get a few more. We just had a star pass from Jackrabbit to Dolly for North East Roller Derby.
We've got Corey calling it off. Lovely.
Corey calling it. So was it a 12 or a 16-point score there? It was the biggest jam of the game so far. So I'm going to assume that was a 12-point jam. That's bringing Ballarat to 36 points. Nice tidy lead to the 14-point score by North East Roller Derby, and we are at quarter time. We are halfway through the first half. Sione up against Keza. Ballarat taking the back line as they have throughout the game so far. Solid tripod holding Keza at the back. Solid tripod holding Sione at the front.
It's a sad place for a jammer, stuck behind a tripod.
As a blocker, that's where I like the opposing jammer. Sione's out for lead. Keza's still battling 3 strong blockers at the back. As I say it, things change. Tiptoes down the inside line on their toe stops.
Nerd her out.
To no
Calling it
avail
off.
though. Sione gets 4 points, calls it off.
Very efficient.
So with the previous game, Gifford City obviously with the 3rd place, Dragon City with the 4th place in the pool, so that kind of went as per the paperwork would expect. We're expecting Nerd to win this one. Nerd were in 3rd place in the other pool, so bit of an upset to start with. 40 points for Ballarat, 14 points, quite a low scoring game.
It is not a huge lead at the moment.
No.
Definitely time for Nerd to take it back.
Oh, plenty of time. Okay. Whose time out is this? Belong to the yellow team, the black team, and the stripy team.
So far away, can't see. My poor.
It's also on that camera there, which is still teeny weeny and small.
Or, you know what I could also do? Whip out this bad boy.
Wasn't working in the last stream for the first game, so. We now have Sniffles up against Spag. Don't think we've seen this matching yet. Oh, beautiful work by Spag on that inside line. Sniffles says, I'll take the inside line too, thank you very much. Dolly says no. Dolly says no, not inside line for you, that was just for my team.
Very nice strong tripod there, Dolly holding.
Yeah. 4 points for Spag. Made it look easy. I know it's hard work. I know there's many years of practice behind making it look easy. Sniffles still battling that tripod. Like, she's got them moving. The pack is now moving quite quickly. Ballarat offense comes in.
Takes away that brace.
Sniffles puts the star back on her head as she completes her initial pass. Spag's coming back around for, I think this is points 9 through 12. Don't think she got all 4 on that pass. But I do think she stopped Sniffles from scoring.
Appears
10
we've
point.
got 10. Yeah.
10-point jam for Spags. Sadly, no points for Sniffles, but that's definitely shortened our lead. 24 points for North East Roller Derby knockouts, 43 points for our Ballarat City Roller Derby Rat Pack. All right, Jack Rabbit's back out to jam for the 2nd time, up against Corey, that's been jamming every 3rd jam.
And Corey sneaks in behind.
Duped to the, sort of baited to the outside, pretended to the outside. In.
Corey's got lead.
Jack Rabbit using laterals extensively, moving from in to out. Get past all those yellow blockers.
Corey just cleaned the whole pot up just about. That's one way to do it.
Jack Rabbit exits on their initial pass. Corey coming back around for a 2nd scoring pass. Pack speeds up. North East Roller Derby are not interested in blocking. They're more
Running
interested
away.
in keeping their points
Yeah.
far away from Corey. Which kind of makes sense if your jam has cleared the pack and you know that Corey will call it if you're going to call it if you're going to score. Yeah. Speed the pack up, keep your points away.
$95 for Nerd and Sione #1 for the Rat
Keza.
Pack.
Keza versus Sione. 3 blockers apiece on the track.
Bit of a run up from both of our jammers there.
No pack gets caught a lot faster when you've just got 3 blockers from each team, both in tripods trying to stop a jammer. No pack situation lets Sione out for lead jammer, half a track behind Keza. Pack speeds up again. A real strategy of
And Sione calling it off.
I think that's a Nerd strategy to try and run away with their points. I'm not sure Ballarat spent that one up. 3 points to Ballarat. No points for North East. 50 to 24. It's a double their score kind of scenario again. 11 minutes 30 remaining on the period clock. Oh, so going back out
Bit
again.
of switch. Old switcheroo.
I didn't have enough time jamming then. I did not score enough points. Put me back out, coach.
Yes.
Oh, came
That
in with
was a
such
solid
speed.
knock.
Yeah, Dolly just took it. Bounced it back. Spags, whilst Dolly was knocking Sione to the ground, getting lead. Coming around to score some points for Nerd. Oh, offense from Nerd, keeping the, well, there was only 2 Ballarat blockers on the track, so it's easier to keep 2 apart than it is to keep 4 apart. But still successfully getting Spags some nice fast points.
And Nerd to put 4 on the board.
I can't tell you the score, I can't see.
50 and 28 for Nerd.
Corey up against Jack Rabbit. Ballarat doing some offense off the line. It was a great job with only 2 blockers on the track, still getting lead, still able to recycle the opposing jammer.
Corey coming round.
3/4 of the track in front of Jack Rabbit, who has exited the pack. So strong on that inside line. Ballarat reforms to catch Jack Rabbit as they come in for their first scoring pass.
Some beautiful Velcro blocking there by Ballarat. Jack Rabbit's having a hard time there.
Yeah. Nerd reform their defence at the front for Corey. Gets spread out, but Corey ultimately coming through for a full complement of points.
Nerd trying to assist. Corey's snuck through and taken that opportunity while Nerd are distracted.
So Jack Rabbit exiting the pack just as Corey pulls it off on their 3rd scoring pass. So I think it'll be a 12.4 point jam, that's my guess. Corey extending Ballarat's lead. They're now on 62. And I'm reckoning they're Nerd are on 32. It says 28, but I reckon.
Wait for those numbers to
Wait
change.
for it. I saw Craig's fingers go up in the air.
Just over 9 minutes left. 3 point
3
jam.
points.
Just on 9 minutes left of this half.
And is there a late penalty in that last jam? Is Jack Rabbit sitting in the box?
I cannot see. We've got someone. Yeah, I can see the flame
Flame
pants. I think
yeah.
it is.
So
Yeah.
Jack Rabbit's in the box. Just making this guess because Sione's out there jamming unopposed. Gets through for lead jammer. About 25 seconds to get lead. And whip around. Ballarat's doing, we call that cocktail sausages in my league. 2 and 2 either side, waiting for the jammer to hit the pack before deciding what offense will happen.
Looks like Sione's come off the track, coming back so they don't get a cut track penalty.
Jack
Trying
Rabbit.
again, powering through. Oh,
Dolly's there to meet you at the front.
fancy footwork there.
Jack Rabbit has returned from the penalty box and is facing that wall of yellow. Actually, it's not a wall anymore. It's kind of like this wave, undulating wave of reforming in front of you.
Very efficient in their recycling.
Sienna coming through. Yellow blockers doing some reforming in time to catch Jack Rabbit. Called off by Sione before I think any points were scored. So, 5.
5 for Ballarat.
Just seems a lot to do, doesn't it? Like that whole lap and getting ready and entering the pack and 5. One
Getting a
extra
5.
point. That
Yeah.
1 point was that whole lap all by itself. 5 points to Ballarat. Getting a
Timeout.
team timeout. Followed by Northeast Roller Derby. 67 to 31. So this is going the opposite way to what it should have on paper. How very exciting. But it's still close.
Very close. Yeah.
The last game, like the biggest jam was around the 22 mark. This score is less than 2 of those apart.
7.5 minutes on the clock. Everyone's taking this opportunity just to reset.
So it's a team timeout called by Northeast Roller Derby, so they're
Yes.
probably having the pep talk. They're behind on the scoreboard. They probably came into this going, yep, we got this. We're ready to play Pivot City next week. Not next week, next round at the finals.
That's it.
Okay. So we are having some technical difficulties with the scoreboard overlay on the stream. Bear with us, we're working on it. But it is 67 points to Ballarat And I just can't tell because the other team 31 points.
31,
Thank
yeah.
you. To Northeast knockout. Everybody's come back to play some roller derby. Keza up against Roast Morgan. Ballarat taking the back line as they had throughout the game. It's working for them. Scoreboard would indicate.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't change what's not broken. Tripod catching Keza.
Kez pushing through.
One to beat at the front.
Nice.
Another one to beat at the front. That's that Ballarat reforming waterfalling magic.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Wow.
sneakily, Roast Mortem coming through.
Looks like
physically in front, not lead jammer technically, but
looks like we
physically in
might.
front of Keza. Keza looks to the bench, decides to call it. Although, as he looks to the bench, he was doing the get ready hand signal. I'm not sure he wanted it called quite yet.
I was expecting Rose to kind of take on Keza there, the way she was looking back.
Wasn't going to let her get past, that's for sure. Yeah, because you don't want to waste time when you're behind in points, so I don't think you either needed to decisively call or actually play through it and see what happens. Corey up against Spag, matching that we love to see. On the back line.
Spag
uses
through.
Corey straight behind
Straight
Corey.
through.
There's nothing better than using the path as the opposing jammer is there, because their blockers are not going to try and hit their own jammer.
Absolutely not.
Third of a track advantage to Spag, so she hits the pack with speed.
Coming through
Corey not very far behind.
and calling it.
I want to know how that played out.
Yeah. Do we get some points on the board there?
There was a pretty 1 foot glide at the end by Corey, which I'm sure was worthy of points, but time-wise, unsure. So remembering that the jam ends at the first group of 4 whistles, 2, 2, 2, 2, that's when it ends. The other 2 are just to let people know that the jam, if you didn't hear the first set,
It's
just
happening
to let
again.
you know that's the
So
end
it
of
looks
the
like
jam.
Nerd have scored 2 points from that jam there.
Corey got nothing for that 1 foot glide, sorry.
Unfortunately, there's no points for style in Derby.
That might be a good thing. I think they took them off for no style. 67 points. Ballarat, 33 for Northeast knockouts. We have Keza back up against Sione.
5.5 minutes on the clock.
Keza pushing to the out. Leone taking the... Sorry. Sione pushing to the out. Keza taking the in.
Taking that line.
Did have a very early start this morning. So Keza's out and lead. Sione still... Oh. Sione being... Oh, some big hits in there.
That was a big one.
Sione being recycled. Dolly at the front. Dolly's kind of like the KO of...
Of Nerd, yes,
Nerd, yes.
absolutely. Been around a long time, Dolly.
Yeah, makes it look magnificent. Happy to be that last line of defence at the front. Happy to recycle you all the way to the back.
And she's in front of that jammer again.
Sione out of the pack. Oh, getting a cut track penalty. So, Keza, who's been having an amazing jam this whole time we've been talking about Sione and just, lapping around getting some points, has now got 30 seconds to do that with the help of her friends.
Calling it off.
Holding it off on the floor, on the back.
Why not? Have a rest.
She did work hard.
She did, absolutely. 67-41.
Nice 8-point jam there for Keza. Keeping the score within attainable, like
Absolutely.
4 minutes left in this half of the period. Power start for Spaz from Northeast Roller Derby knockouts. And how many yellow blockers on the track?
Appears to be 2.
So Spag's up against 2 Ballarat blockers. Her team happy to stand still and let the no pack happen so that Spags can get straight through for the lead. Good strategy.
Great strategy.
Ballarat's like, all right, then we'll start the back then so we can't get pushed out of play as quickly. Great strategy for them. And worked. Hit out to the inside by curls. Spag forced to recycle to the back of the pack.
Some nice O there
Yeah, well done.
from Nerd.
Yeah, we won't let that trick happen twice in a row.
Absolutely not. And here's Sione back on.
So I'm not sure who sped up the pack then. Who's at the advantage by speeding up the pack?
Oh dear.
Spags get 3 or 4 of those guys. 2. I would argue there was a ghost. Oh no, that's three. So that's three. That's three, right? I'd argue there was a ghost. Not a ghost point. You know, a person in the box point that should have been happening there.
So it looks like Nerve scored 7 for that jam.
7-0. So that's two quite well more than one scoring pass jams in a row. An 8-point jam and a 7-point jam unopposed. A few more of those, you'll be in the lead.
Absolutely.
67 currently for Ballarat. 48 for North East Roller Derby. Corey against Jack Rabbit. Jack Rabbit goes out. Corey goes in. Corey goes down.
Jack Rabbit gets
Jack
through.
Rabbit's lead. Wow. That's how I want to describe all jams from now on.
Yep.
Corey stuck behind a tripod of Nerd at the front of the pack. Knocked to the outside. Oh, penalty. Penalty to Corey. Jack Rabbit free to get those unopposed points that we were talking
There
about.
we go. Yep. Straight through again.
4 points for Jack Rabbit. The lead shrinks. All 8 blockers on the track. Nerd offensive players speeded up a little bit.
And Jack Rabbit's through.
I do like that kind of strategy of speeding it up and then pulling out such that you're not maintaining the pack so that they do actually string out.
Corey on. A little bit of a juke to the out there from Corey. Wonderful hit there from Dolly.
And 0-9, Dubious. Dolly and Dubious working well together at the front there as 2 were slowing Corey right down. Jack Rabbit's bench telling him to call it off. I think that one was a 12 points unopposed jam. Tables are turning.
Six-
Now,
67
yeah,
for Ballarat and 60 for Nerd.
we have a 7-point game now. That was an amazing lead kill. 8 points plus 7 points plus 12 points means 7 points left to get in the lead. But Spags up against Snipples for this jam. We only have 50-something seconds left on the clock for this half. What a way to end the half, though, to have,
Come
been
back.
half of the team score and to come back within.
Within, yeah, one
Two
pass,
scoring
two passes, yeah.
It's amazing momentum to take into the intermission.
And it just goes to show, like, when you have such a big, like, it's actually not that, like, looking
Yeah.
at the numbers,
You're like, oh, that's a lot, but
it's actually not, yeah.
Right. So we did have Snipples getting lead in this jam. Spags about half a lap behind. Pack has sped up again as Snipples goes in for their scoring pass. Snipples calling it off. I think Spags did not get any sneaky points there.
Bit hard to see there.
She's going to, 2 points to Ballarat. So it's going to be 69 to 60. So still not a huge change in this scoreboard. And we're at half-time. Wow, that was some good derby.
Two very strong teams.
And it's looking forward to the second half. This is going to come down to just mindset and quick decisions at the time. It's not like you can have this big, far-reaching strategy when the scores are bouncing around so much. Amazing. Alrighty, then we should go get raffle tickets and stuff and stalls and buy donuts.
Absolutely.
And come back in about 10 minutes' time, eh?
Sounds like a plan.
Amazing. See you then.
Thanks.
Hello, Derbyverse. We are back.
Second half.
Second half of a very exciting, very close game. So we're at the semi-final stage. We have Ballarat versus North East Roller Derby. These were the third and fourth players in their respective pools.
There's 9 points in it at the moment. Anyone's game.
So it was very low scoring to start with. We had two times we were tied, and that was at 3 points and 6 points. But I'm talking we're all 5 and 6 minutes into the game. That wasn't just like jam 1 and jam 2. And we've just had North East Roller Derby come back from about a 40-ish points behind. They had 3 straight jams when they scored 7, 8 and 12 points unopposed, which has brought them within 7 points. And then last jam, just before we left you, Ballarat scored 2 points unopposed and got us to this 60-69 scoreboard as we went to half-time. So we're playing for glory now. The winner of this game goes through to play for 5th place on the ladder next round at the finals.
Yep.
And the loser of this game goes forward to play for 7th place. So there's a lot at stake. There's like 2 whole places potentially at stake.
Absolutely. And our next round will be hosted by Pivot City in Geelong. Sunny Geelong.
Sunny Sale. It's just cold Sale. It's sunny. Don't get me wrong, but I left at 12 degrees where I am this morning and got here at 5 degrees. So it's Spags up against Corey. This is how we started the first half. So we're going to start the second half. Corey getting the lead with a big hit at the front.
Spags still stuck at the back there with Ballarat. Yet to complete their initial pass. Corey coming up to do their first scoring pass.
Ballarat's reformed all 4 blockers at the front. Spags has gotten past on the inside line, completed their initial pass. Corey pops out just behind them. 4 points in their pocket. Calls it off. So I assume the halftime talks would have been do what you're doing kind of a thing. So for like North East, it would be, hey, we're clawing back. This is great. Keep doing what you're doing. And Ballarat are like, we're in the lead for like
keep doing what we're doing. Yeah.
3/4 of that first half. Let's keep doing what we're doing. I can't see there been anything huge in those pep talks that would have. We're going to change everything.
It's going to be life changing. Yeah.
No.
So we've got Jackrabbit and Sione head to head. Looks like our blockers are kind of closer up to that pivot line.
Ballarat's at the back again. Ballarat has been on the back. I can't call it like the back pack, like the back part of the pack, because they form some of the pack. They've been taking the back line in the starting lineups. We're having a benchy talking to a ref pointing at the scoreboard or pointing at the bench. There's lots of pointing.
There's lots of pointing.
There's
lots of listening, lots of talking. We need I think we need a roving mic, don't we?
We'll send out the 6-year-old with like a GoPro on their head.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that was a 4-point jam for Corey, bringing Ballarat up to 73, extending that lead to 13 points, 60 points for our knockouts. No team sucked back at the beginning of that jam, so they both stayed up at the pivot line. Let both jammers have a bit of a run up.
Yep. Siona's taking that to her full advantage, pushing her way through. Very strong jammer.
Yes.
Very strong jammer.
And I saw them blocking at the gender ending story. Gender ending. Thank
story?
you.
Yep,
Thank you.
that's the one.
Saw them at that game, and their blocking skills were so on point for somebody that is primarily a jammer. The pack awareness and skills were amazing.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So they've come through, lead jammer.
Wow.
Now scoring some points. Jackrabbit. I'm going to say that sort of was a signature jumpy Jackrabbit move, right?
Yep.
Running down your toe stops on the inside line. Sione calling it before Jackrabbit has a chance to score. I think she could have waited a few more seconds before calling. It was 2 points. Had a little bit of time because Jackrabbit still had 3/4 of a lap to go. But then again, you've got to weigh it up, right? If you're not feeling safe, if you're not feeling that you could achieve the extra 2 points in that time, if you feel you might accidentally get a penalty if you're on the 4 law and you can't be bothered getting up.
Absolutely.
Many
If you're
reasons
getting
to call.
gassed.
Yeah. Still got a whole other half to get through.
That's it. So we've got
Kitty up against Snipples.
Ballarat on 75 and North East on 60.
Snipples getting a penalty, heading to the penalty box, allowing Kitty to have some help from her friends. Kitty takes to the outside, heads to the inside. It's knocked and drawn back by Gussie. Re-enters the pack. Whoop. Hit out by Curls, but as Curls falls as well, you can re-enter without having to go behind. Kitty is out. Lead jammer status. Still the only jammer on the track. Northeast setting up for some offense. Starting mixed up within all the Ballarat skaters.
Still got two together there.
Yeah.
Doing their best.
Kitty to get past two blockers quite easily, but then it's time for reforming. And Ballarat now has all four back in front of Kitty. Nerds tripod holding Sniffles at the front as she's returned from the penalty box. Kitty through on that scoring pass. Going to come around and score some more maybe. Sniffles also out. Slashed the star for a few seconds, but now has it back on her head.
And that's it. It's a point and carry.
How many did Kitty score before pulling it? Oh, none. So points are measured passing hips, and no hips were passed, says the jammer ref. I'm not at an angle to disagree or agree with that statement, so I will...
Smile and nod.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's an 11-point game now, 64 points for Nerd, scoring 4 points there unopposed, 75 for Ballarat's Rat Pack. Corey up against Spags. I was going to say, is this jam 4? Because they're both on a 3-cycle rotation.
Looks like it, yes. Yep, it sure is.
Corey's out.
Corey's out.
Spags is out. About half a track,
not even.
That's right. It's both going at full speed. Nerds taking the front of the pack as we reset for some defence. Ballarat blockers go to do some O. Oh.
Corey just, ooh.
It means as they were doing so much good O that they didn't get to reform for defence, and Spag
Just took a couple, I think.
Spag might have grabbed some on the slide. No, oh, wait. 2?
We've got
Three.
four. Yeah, there we go.
4 points to Corey, 3 points to Spags. So sometimes, yeah, O has the consequences. There's less people on defence. So 79 to 67.
It's definitely a nuanced skill being able to change from D to O and back again when things are happening so quickly.
Very much so, and like the bench cannot, in that kind of instance, give you the exact second you need to call it off. And as a jammer, you're looking at who you've got to pass, not what your blockers are doing. So much to it. It's the magic of roller derby.
It is.
Sorry, Sione up against Jackrabbit. Sione's got lead.
Snuck through.
Got 4 points.
Unfortunately, clean dolly right up there.
Yeah.
Oh well. Fortunately for Sione.
Was that Calamity June?
Was it
I think it's Calamity June. Either way, it was getting 4 points by throwing one blocker on the floor.
Yes, yep. Yep, Mum
It
said
worked.
it was Calamity, yep.
So 8 points unopposed for Ballarat. Sione getting the 8, bringing them to 87. Jackrabbit on 6. Jackrabbit 0 points, bringing Northeast knockouts to 67. 20 points in it. Nerd better go back to what they were doing to get their
mojo.
Yeah, what they were just doing in that last 10 minutes of the previous period. Snipples up against Kitty. Northeast taking the back line this time. That is a change. They are kind of being crowded though by Ballarat blockers, making it a little bit harder to manoeuvre.
The German there was like doing a little bit of
Forced blocker to
defense
start
there.
with.
Yeah, yep.
So many strategies, so many ways to play roller derby.
So lots of lateral work there.
Both jammers stuck behind a tripod. Snipples is in the back. Kitty's at the front. Gross Mortem doing a little bit of bridging as required. Full complement of blockers from each team's back on the track now. As I said that.
And one goes off.
Pick that Smack heading to the box. Sparks. I got Sparks and Smack. Mixed up the whole last game. Why not keep it going? Sorry, still no lead jammer. We've been going for 50 seconds in this jam. The waterfalling and recycling of the Ballarat blockers is amazing. As Kitty
Just
comes through and then collapses through.
Yes.
Half of the jam has expired until we've got a lead jammer. Snipples at the back up against Dolly. That's always fun for Dolly.
Yeah. I'm sure Dolly loves that one-on-one.
I'm not sure Snipples feels the same way.
Yeah.
Pivot's looking aware. There's sort of some eye contact stuff happening there. And Snipples is through their initial pass. That's a 1 minute 36 initial pass. Kitty coming through for some points.
Here we go.
Calling it off.
We'll wait to see what those numbers do.
6 is my guess. £6 for Kitty. Closes that gap back down. Should be 14 points difference right now.
87 to 73.
22 minutes remaining on the period clock. Corey versus Bags. Must be a jam divided by 9. Yes. Divided by 3. No, it's not jam 7. There's like sticking to your rotation on paper, and then there's like pack matching, right?
Yes,
if you see
absolutely.
Corey go out and Spags is a person, or the other way around, I don't know who's leading who here, but I think with these two, it's definitely pack matching.
Yes, absolutely.
Corey gets lead. Did some kind of magic hand signal to their team. Team does some kind of magic.
Magic things, yep. And Corey's come through. Called
Untouched.
off. Yep.
Worked well. Whatever that hand signal was, like get me points without making me have to hit anybody or be hit. Sometimes you don't choose to hit people; they
That's
choose
it.
to hit you.
Whatever works.
Nice fast 4 points compared to the epic 6 points taken on the last jam. Time-wise, fast time-wise.
And a bit of credit where credit's due with Northeast. A few of their players skated in the previous game,
Yeah.
so they must be feeling it. Playing 2 full
100%.
games.
And the last game wasn't a walk in the park. That was some solid
Good
derby.
game.
Jack Rabbit up against Sione. Jack Rabbit heading to the penalty box. Sione heading around to get some points. Ballarat standing behind. Oh no, speeding the pack up first before Sione enters. Oop.
I feel like it looks like Sione really, well, most jammers do like a quick
Yep.
pack. It's easy to break it apart.
Yeah, when they're
Spring
moving.
through.
Yeah. Definitely as a blocker you need to practice holding somebody at speed
Absolutely.
or catching somebody at speed versus they just sort of plonk into you while you're standing still.
Dolly is not letting her have it.
Yeah. Tripods reformed at the front with Nerd, all 4 Nerd blockers at the front. Jack Rabbit's re-entered the pack. Bella at the back holding Jack.
So we've got a no pack situation here. Or not.
Knockouts at the front holding Sione. That was a good quick reform. That's what you're meant to do. You hear no pack. That pack needs to reform ASAP.
So we've got some good bridging happening in the middle there.
And everybody's responsible for that reform. Sione only got 2 to beat at the front.
You can hear them bridging. Yeah, stretching it right out.
Oh, they've done it. They've knocked her out right at the last second. Oh,
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Curls has come in to do some screening offense.
Let's have a
And
moment.
Sione has called it off. So that was
Oh,
4 points. 4
That's,
points for Sione in its entirety. And no points for Northeast in that jam. 95 plays 73. Increased it to a 22-point lead. Just brought out the medics real quick. So
we'll take a quick break.
back with you shortly. And we are back with you. We've applauded the impacted skater as they've headed off to the first aid station.
Big shout out to our medics for looking after our skaters today.
Oh, really responsive and quick today.
Without our medics, we wouldn't have a game.
Not at all. We wouldn't have training. All right, back to the roller derby. We have Roast Mortem up against Spags.
Spag taking the in.
Spags taken in, pushed to the out. Ballarat is shuffling at the front for position. No, Spags sped them up too much. Gets lead. Roast stuck at the back in that tripod of nerd blockers. Spags
Sneaking through on that inside line. Beautiful work.
Bit of a hit by Beck at the front, but does not deter Spags on her scoring campaign. Roast is out. Bit of a star stash. Back putting the hat on so they can score points on this next lap. Oh, footwork so close when you're
so close. Yeah.
Spags taking that inside line, trying to tiptoe in their toe stop, thwarted by Killer Curls. But calls it because they can. 7 points. That's a nice, decent jump there. 7 points unopposed. 80 points. Northeast knockouts, 95. Brat Pack. And remember, you've got the juniors to watch tonight in France.
Absolutely.
Then we've got our finals on the 26th of August. And then you've got East Coast Clash coming up in September, which is some interstate fiends coming to take on
lots of roller derby to be had.
Plenty more today here too. Corey up against Jackrabbit. Corey has the lead, coming around for a scoring pass. Jackrabbit in about the middle of the pack. Has a couple of
sneaking through there on the inside line for Corey.
Knocked out to the out for Jackrabbit and recycled back of the pack. Well, Corey's coming through for points. 7. Oh, that one just looked a bit too. Yep.
Wasn't quite.
I was going to say nice, easy, another 4 points. Jackrabbit. Got Vindicator. Putting Jackrabbit back into the tripod now. The whole tripod holding Jackrabbit up.
Dolly knocking Corey out, dragging Corey all the way to the back there.
And Jackrabbit's out on their initial pass. That's almost 1 minute of the jam.
Dolly's put herself at the front there to give Corey a bit more trouble.
Just when you thought you were safe and free, Dolly's back.
She's back.
That's how I want to be known. That's what you want to be known for in derby.
Just appearing out of nowhere.
That's right. What? I thought I passed you. You did, but...
Now you have to do it again.
12 points for Corey. That was a big jam.
That brings our 107 to 80, with our lead going to Ballarat.
17 minutes left in the game.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Sione versus Spags. Ballarat taking the front this time in the pack setup. Northeast Roller Derby taking the back line. Sione pushing to the out, pushing to the middle, pushing to the in, going out.
Doing all the spots, all the lanes, all the spots.
Being everywhere as a good jammer can. And taking on a tripod at the front.
Why not?
Tripod declared out of play, has to let her go. Spag battling the Ballarat blockers at the back, now able to get some assistance from teammates.
Sione just coming up now.
Spags with 1 to beat, falls, but so does the initiating blocker. So Spags continues on her merry way. Sione in the pack. 3 points. I'm noticing with Sione that she's not trying to get the full 4 even if there's time. I'd be interested to understand her take on that.
So that brings our score. Ballarat 110, Northeast to 80. Oh, hang on, we're going to have a score change. I'm jumping the gun here. Hang on.
Officials are trying to... Somebody's talking to the score, but it's definitely 3 points for Sione, not the full 4. Or was it?
Commentary team too. I'm one who always swears.
We can hear you on the mic, so please do not.
Don't do that. Yes. It's a family-friendly game.
We just had Hawkeye from RXA Photography sit down on the bench. And these microphones pick stuff up well. I'm assuming if I can hear him in my headphones, everybody else can hear him? Exactly.
That was been confirmed.
We can hear you. So I'm not sure what this timeout is about.
Cannot see whether it's...
Rolling whistle. Doesn't
Okay.
matter. No time to find out. So that was 110 to 80. And skaters skating back out. Roast Mortem is up for Ballarat as jammer of note. And Kitty is back out for the Northeast Roller Derby knockouts. Northeast taking the front line, Ballarat back on the back, which is where they...
I love that.
Yep.
I love it.
Roast is doing a little bit of that fourth blocker stuff, which not as successful this time. Kitty goes up the outside line getting lead, leaving Roast kind of trapped at the back because they were blocking. Although not for long. Pack's approaching turn number 2. Kitty's approaching Pack for some points. Roast is being... I was going to say it's more hassled on their way
Yeah.
through the pack. Wasn't really stopped or hindered.
Just
and
bothered.
That's right.
Just bothered.
Now out on their initial pass. Completing their initial pass, ready for a scoring pass. Kitty being told to call. Sensible decision when the other team's about to get some points. Although we've also got to claw back this points differential.
Yes.
Sometimes you may have to trust the blockers to shut down the jammer and allow you to do a couple of passes.
So we've got Corey jamming. And Spags. I think we can pretty much safely say if it's Corey, it's Spags.
And we had that Jack Rabbit pairing.
Yes,
once,
true.
so-
Yep.
But 110 for Ballarat, maintaining that lead. 84 for Northeast Roller Derby. Both of them trying for the outside line.
Yep.
Ballarat
And
weirdly
Corey's
taking the
it
front
away.
of the pack.
Yep.
I think Corey has dominated the lead in this pairing.
Spags half a track behind.
Pack is reforming with Ballarat at the front,
Yep.
trying to keep the nerd points behind them perhaps. Corey is out.
Reforming quickly. That's it. Yep.
I would say that was a late call. I think Spags got a
Got a
decent
couple.
couple there that weren't, that could have been prevented. A couple of preventable points. It's a new word, I'm calling it. 4 points for Corey. And
4 points. 4 points apiece.
points for Spag. Yes, that was unnecessary. From a Ballarat perspective in the not wanting nerd to score. From Spags, great job. Very necessary. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop jamming till the whistle blows.
That's it. Get those points.
Kitty versus Sione.
Sione. Nope.
Drawn back. Almost lead is what I think we're going to say there.
Close, but no cigar.
Sione up against the front.
Again.
Kitty
there we
sneaks
go.
through on the inside. Kitty has lead. Sione has physical lead. Sione has overtaken Kitty on the track.
Calling
And Kitty's
it
going to
before
call
anyone
it.
hits the pack. No points that jam.
Nope. Score remains 114 to 88. 114 to 88. Roast is back out against Spag. Roast Spag.
Roast
Can you
Spag, yeah.
Spag?
Why not? I guess you bake macaroni.
I suppose
Yeah,
make
baked ones.
ragu's sort of made from roast meats. Isn't it? Anyway, nothing to do with roller derby. Ballarat wrapping at the front this time. Nerd on the back line. Spag's taking a run up.
I love that run up. Signature move.
Roast not doing any blocking this time. Straight into the jamming position. Jack Rabbit with the pivot hat on saying no.
It's a hard no. Computer
will
says
block
no.
you. Spags is out for lead jammer. Roast is getting a bit of support from their teammates. Bit of O happening from Ballarat, who has to then stop doing that and reform as Spag comes in for some points. Roast pushing to the inside, Spag pushing to the outside. Sort of have tripods next to each other
Yes.
now, not behind or in front of each other.
And we've got a star pass to Curls.
Spag being told to call. They've decided that Curls is too good a jammer to risk it. I cannot confirm or deny that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've ever seen curls jam to know whether that's the right call. I don't know. I think it's always worth letting the pivot attempt one lap to see what they're like, to know whether you should sort of let it run. But then again, maybe I'm just not worldly knowledge of curls' amazing jamming skills, and that was the right decision. And because it was a nice quick call off too, which is what you need to do when you're behind. You can't waste points on that.
No, that's
If
it.
you're going to call it the minute you see it happen.
There's probably an element of self-preservation there as well.
Yeah, you've got to keep jamming. Seems to be quite low jammer rotations in these games. It's not like you've got a big broad 6 jammers to share it all amongst.
No, that's it. It's what, 3?
Yeah,
3 a
sort of
team?
3 to 4 matches.
Yeah.
So, Corey was out with lead up against Kitty. Corey's score.
Calling it off.
Kitty has not.
They've been quite low scoring jams this half.
This whole game has been, well, it's half the score of the prior game.
Yep.
So with 10.5 minutes to go, we have Ballarat. Corey giving them another 4 points, bringing them to 118 to 92 of our North East Roller Derby knockouts. Sione versus Stag this time. A little bit of variation in the who's up against who.
Sione taking the inside there.
Ballarat
Spag
taking
gets stopped.
Sione's clear on the
Through.
inside at the front. Lead jammer. Means North East blockers are going to go back and help Spags.
Spag's pushing. Pushing.
Not to the out by
Fortunately-
Gussie. Back in. Solid Ballarat tripod this time.
Absolutely.
Well, Spags is finding it quite
Quite a
solid.
challenge.
North East reforming to catch Sione on her second scoring pass. Sione does a bit of a slide on 1 foot, toe stop backwards to skip around on that outside line.
And it looks like we've got a star pass.
Sure do.
Dolly
putting
has
the hat
the
on.
star on. And that appears...
It was an attempted call from the floor by Sione, but they got a penalty
Penalty.
prior to that, so could not call it off
that
in the
is
penalty box.
power jam for Dolly.
Poor Dolly has a full 2 minutes jamming.
Let's see what she can do with it.
8 points
Easy work
already.
there. Easy work there for Dolly. She's getting the signal to keep going.
She doesn't have a choice, does she? She's not lead.
No.
She's got to keep on
She's got
trucking.
to keep on keeping on. Sione's
So we're currently even scores for both jammers at the moment. Sione's out from the box. Dolly's got now a 1 lap advantage. Sione getting a forearms and is back in the penalty box. Dolly's this has got to be the biggest jam of the game so far, I feel.
I think so.
Because that'll bring it up to 16. Or did Corey go to 16 earlier? I should write this stuff down. So we've got 16 huge points from Dolly and Co. 11 points for Ballarat, with Sione still in the penalty box. 129 to 108. That gap has shrunk
It's
back
closing.
down to 21. And 8 minutes on the clock, and a timeout was called by the North East Roller Derby bench. That'll be about harnessing that momentum, I'm sure, and maybe give you Dolly a break. How big is their rotation? How many skaters have they packed today? Not a heap, actually, have
No.
they?
Not a huge lineup.
So they've got 12 on their lineup, and
How many have they borrowed?
there was at least 3, wasn't there?
Yes.
Carmody, Sparks. Thank you. I have clarification. That was the only 16-point jam in the game.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So we
Have
have
to call you the stat man.
Oh. I'm just like, yes, my brain has not stopped working quite yet. We've made it. 16 points. Alrighty, so knockouts all invigorated from that pep talk, that timeout. They're all refreshed. They just won that previous jam. They're only 21 points behind.
anyone's game.
But really, not just saying it because we can. Not just because it's cliched and sounds like what commentators should say. All right. Kez is up. Takes the outside line. Dolly doesn't. Oh, straight through. Lead jammer. This is what they want. They're like,
Ooh, let's rack up those points.
only. There's 3 Ballarat blockers on the track. Coming around for a scoring pass. Shrinking that points differential.
Some lovely O there.
4 points less now, so.
Yeah.
Sneaky Sione took the star off before coming back from the penalty box, and it kind of worked. No, didn't quite get their defence back to a full set. Oh, Kez has come through. Got a back block. Tried to call it, then realised that they'd caused a back block and are heading to the penalty box. Sione now gets to score unopposed. Well, unopposed as in the other team's still going to try and stop them, but no opposing jammer can be scoring at the same time. Dolly says no. That was a blocking pair, like Dolly was being braced, but just looked super effective at holding Sione back. Nerd have reformed at the front, all 4 of their blockers.
Sione's broken through.
I think Ballarat did a bit of a sweep on the outside there. Broken through as a team. So Ballarat are reforming at the front. Nerd are taking the back line.
Just pipped Sione there just after the apex.
I'll give you one guess who it was. The number starts with 8 and ends with 8.
Name starts with D, ends in Ollie.
That's right, correct. Amazing work, Dolly. I've lost track of what scoring passes were, where we're at, who's done what. Both jammers are currently in the pack, both of them being effectively stopped or recycled. The 2 minutes have completed. Let's see where the points fall, shall we? Sometimes when they're taken front to back so often, I'm like, have they done a lap in between? Or have they...
Yeah,
Derby's
very,
tricky.
yeah.
Hey, another winning jam for North East Roller Derby. 10 points to Nerd, 5 points to the Rat Pack. So our scores are now 134 to 118. What happened then? Did Ballarat have to call a timeout because they didn't have enough blockers on the track?
And that's an interesting thing to note. So we've set up the jammer and pivot line on the opposite side of the track today. So it's making it a a bit
I hate
tricky.
that as a player.
Yeah.
You have
If
to
you've
pull
got to
somebody
hightail
back.
it. Yes.
If there's a rotation you want to swap.
Yeah.
Just even making sure that you exit the track because
You can't cross.
nice skaters should not be crossing the inside of the track.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the official zone, so you've got to go the long way around. But then again, making sure that you step on the track when you get there, because if you're out of the right spot on the track, you can at least go to the penalty box and then spend some more time on the track. If you don't get on until the last second and you're not on before the whistle blows, then you're off for the whole jam.
Off the
So
jam. Yeah.
it's better to
Great for the spectators. A little bit harder for the players.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's great to have them starting right in front of you, and especially in those slow-moving games where you hardly move out of that first turn.
Yes.
You miss everything if it's happening on the other side. We don't miss it. It's 20 feet further away, but I get it. So it's Spags versus Korea, the epicness of epicness that we love. Ballarat unexpectedly taking the front line.
See a little. Someone's trying to get the foot in front of. Oh,
Bit of jostling before the whistle.
Yes, saw that.
Works though. O on the outside allows Corey straight through for lead. Spags still pushing up against Ballarat's defences. Oh, beautiful O from the inside by Nerd.
Spag working through about half a track, maybe three quarters.
A generous half track. Corey goes around the outside. Oh, tries to balance on one foot. It's not successful. I'm unsure if they got a full 4 then. Unsure. 3 points for Korea, no points for North East Roller Derby. 137 plays 118. We've only got 4 minutes 55 on the clock. North East need to do something.
We need another one of those big scoring jams.
Yep. I also would say they should start playing with their timeouts, because when you call a timeout straight away, you're kind of putting 20, 30 seconds back on the clock.
Yes.
And they want those. Wow, that was some epic athleticism from the Nerd bench there.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody pass a helmet cover as accurately. You try and throw those things and they don't go where you want them to go.
Absolutely not. They don't fly very well.
That was some skilled derby skill there. Sprint, pass the pivot cover, sprint. Piff the pivot cover even. Anyway, Keza is out. Lead jammer. That's what you want. Sione is stuck pushing against said pivot at the back of the back. Pivot is Dolly. Dolly recaptures at the front. Friends come up and form a tripod again in front of Sione, much to Sione's disgust.
Dismay.
Keza does one scoring pass. Successful star pass from Sione to Roast Mortem, who is exiting
Roast
from the back.
is through.
All right, this will be a bit of a telltale. What is Northeast going
One
to do?
hip through.
Are they going to call it or are they going to run it? Oh. Hand up, J-Lo, if you would have run that. There's no cameras on us today,
No.
right? Hmm.
Thank goodness.
I would have run it. Oh, I cannot lie on commentary. I'm terrible.
So what have we got here? Just
So 8 points. They have called the timeout. Somebody's called the timeout. So that's
37.
magical. They've put 30, not quite 30 seconds. As fast as you do it, you can put some time back in that period block.
So we've got 137 for Ballarat and 126.
11 points. Wowzers.
And we've got 3.5 minutes.
That is so exciting. Epic close game. All right, so who are you putting out? What are your jammer predictions?
Oh, it'll be, I think they're going to put out Corey.
Korean Spurs?
Yeah.
Yep.
I know,
Wow,
right?
Look at us, groundbreaking. Oh yeah, so if we sound like we're talking to somebody else, we are.
We are, yes.
That's right. We have the master of streaming sitting next to us. And sometimes asks insightful questions or gives some insightful commentary that we react to and you have no clue what was said, so apologies.
There's also a manager of stats as well there. He's
Yes.
put in great input with the scoring.
Does it all.
What have we got?
Had
Who
to get
have
his
we
own
got?
donuts.
Surprise, surprise.
Corey
We've got
versus
Corey's bags.
All right.
3.5 minutes on the clock. 137, 126. Ballarat's game at the moment.
All right, what I would have done is I would have put out Dolly against Corey. That's what I would have done.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Spags traditionally has not got lead on Corey throughout
No.
this game. Like, they have it now. They're obviously way closer than they have. Oh,
Spags
blowout on the
down.
corner.
Have we got, is Dolly on track?
No, that's what I'm
No.
saying. I think I would have changed
Yeah.
up the blocking line up there. Corey getting 1 point?
One Corey? I think so. It only looks like one.
12 points difference, but still a time waste when you're in the lead. It's fine,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yep. Just stalling.
Play it safe.
If you're already winning, you don't need any more.
That's right. It's very different winning a game versus having to have a points differential or
Yes.
for rankings.
That's it.
Still my brain in these rankings things now that WFD rankings are back. Oh, that's an aside note. Winning, much easier to keep track of. We have Keza up against Snipples. Snipples does a bit of off the line. Oh, some nice time wasting with Jammer.
Bit of jammer on jammer action there.
Snipples getting stuck behind a wall of 4 at the back. Keza pushing just a tripod of 3 because Roast Mortem's gone back to do a little bit of O for Snipples. Roast is basically just taking out Dolly, which
Yeah.
I think is quite a good idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Big drawback on Keza. Not what they want. Northeast need to get the lead and get some points quickly. 2 minutes left on this period clock.
Got a crowd of officials in front of us there. Can't quite see what's going on there.
There is some derby happening.
I can see Dolly doing things.
So Roast is effectively
Roast.
keeping the pack though for the nerd
Yes.
blockers. It's allowing those 4 blockers to still keep. Don't bridge, Jack. Of it. Keeping the 4
not
blockers
helping their
in
own
play.
jammer at the
That's
moment.
right. Sorted itself out now, but Dolly and who is Dolly blocking with?
818.
That's Dolly and
818 is Dolly, and I can't quite see.
can't see the number of the other person.
09, I believe.
Dubious.
Dubious.
Good blocking partnership there. Snipples has been slowed.
Dolly doing the chicken wing there. Classic chicken wing.
I love it. We're talking about different terminology at leagues. We call that long bottoming.
Yes, yep, that is a...
Chicken wing, long bottom, same.
That's a VRDL.
Everybody's
Turn.
super slow. Jammers creeping their way forward centimetre by centimetre, which is all working in Ballarat's favour.
Yes.
The longer that is not on the clock for Ballarat, whilst they're still in the lead, the better.
Now it's
That
one-on-one, Dolly and
partnership.
Snipples.
Yeah, that partnership's been broken by a penalty.
Snipples is
Jam
just
is
pushing
over.
slowly.
Epic 2-minute jam.
Wowee.
Exactly what Ballarat wanted. No, not exactly. They would have loved to have got lead and got many, many points, but Northeast not getting lead, Northeast not able to score points. Exactly what
Ballarat
Ballarat
maintaining
wanted. Yeah.
lead. Yes. Yeah.
That was an epic 2 minutes.
And surprise, surprise, who have we got?
19, 18, there's going to be... There'll end up being 10 seconds left on the clock when we start.
Yep.
Spags versus Corey. We started this way. We
Oh,
finished
Corey's
this way.
down. Just a little bit of, and who have we
Oh,
got?
yeah.
Corey through.
Lead for Corey. Wait for the clock.
Run it down.
Look at your bench. All right. Clock has expired. Oh, Corey's like, no, do that weird thing where I don't
Do the
get
thing.
hit.
Yep.
It's a risk. It's
That's
a risk
it.
because if you get a penalty and you're sent to the box and Spags has got, you know, a minute and a half to score points.
That's it.
Plays works out this time though.
So we've got an unofficial score of 142 to 126.
Oh, congrats to...
What a great game.
That was awesome. Congrats to Ballarat. He'll be, assuming we get this to be the official score, they'll be playing you guys at finals.
Can't wait.
5th place. And that means that our Northeast Roller Derby knockouts go on to play Chico Rollers for 7th place at the finals. Scorers final. Congrats to Ballarat. Well done, Northeast Roller Derby. Like, biggest winners Roller Derby just in general. That was an epic, amazing game to watch. I've been Harmon Miranda.
I've been Jello.
Thanks for listening. See you at the next one.
Ciao.